Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Our Last Leg podcast. You got me, Nikki G, and my co-host,
Johnny G.
Hey, welcome back, you guys. I'm very happy to be here. I'm sorry we missed last week. We be working and shit. It sucks, but you got to do what you got to do. You got to pay the bills.
And I will say, since we didn't get to make that episode last week, we still want to wish you all a happy holiday, Merry Christmas, and Happy New Year when we put this out. So again, as we said, we apologize for missing that last episode, but we were just occupied. I'm sure you guys were. I really hope you guys did cash on Christmas because, man, NFL for touchdowns were the go-to. And I'm sure you probably already saw it. If you guys are watching our video, you probably follow an account called BR Betting. And we saw dude smack half a milli.
It was ridiculous.
$5, bro. $5?
Yeah.
That's your average person right there. No one betting grands, $500 a parlay like that. This is like your average person like us who like dream to hit a parlay like this. I'm so happy for that guy. Truly am. But that's all I have to say for that part.
Yeah, I mean, congratulations to him. That's fucking awesome. But for us, it's time for us to make some money. It's our turn, okay?
Yes, sir.
Again, welcome back. It's week 17. I am so sad that the year is coming to an end because that means the football season is coming to an end. So that means we got to make our bets. You know, you might think maybe I shouldn't make a bet this week. You're going to fucking regret it in April. I can tell you that right now. So I think we're going to go ahead and dive into it. You cool with that?
Hell yeah. Bring it to us.
Fucking do it. So the first game we're going to, we have got New York Jets going to the doghouse. They're going to the Cleveland Browns. Jets versus the Browns. Jets are not favored. The Browns are by 7.5 points. Over under sitting at 34.5. Now, I'll tell you right now, I like that number.
I do too.
Jets have scored in their last 3 games. Out of their last 3 games, in 2 of those, they put up at least 30 points.
Yes, sir.
And Brees Hall is the only fucking reason. That guy is a fucking stud. So glad I picked him up this year. So the Browns are sitting at 10-5, which is, I think that kind of blew everybody's mind, to be honest. The other thing is going to be that the Jets are only 6-9. They're out of the playoffs. I mean, that's a fact.
Yeah.
So,
but the Browns are fighting to still get in, right?
Right now, the Browns are fighting for the number 1 seed in the AFC.
Oh, okay.
So the 3 contenders for the number 1 seed in the AFC sit right now. Ravens, Dolphins, Browns. Isn't that fucking crazy? I don't think anybody saw that coming.
No, I don't.
Year.
No, I wouldn't have. Now, Ravens and Dolphins, yeah. No, without a shadow of a doubt. But the Browns, I wouldn't have put in that picture.
I would have thought, Chiefs, Bills up there at the beginning of the year.
Especially like with them losing Deshaun Watson and I forgot the other running back. Oh, Chubb. Yeah, Chubb. After that, and that fucked me in fantasy. But really after that loss, I really thought the Cleveland Browns were just going to struggle the entire season.
Yeah.
I'll say Joe Flacco, but then bringing him in. Granted, he has been throwing, I think he's averaging 2 interceptions a game, but the dude pulls it off. And he's throwing numbers. And if you guys saw, Amari Cooper popped the fuck off and broke a record too for the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
So FYI.
So if the Browns, they're going to the playoffs. I mean, that's exactly how it's looking. This would be the second time in 21 years that the Browns make it to the playoffs. Only
I didn't know that.
Twice in the last 2 decades. That's fucking terrible, but by God, you got Joe motherfucking Flacco in there. Joe Flacco is a fucking monster.
Yeah, bro.
Flacco, he played for the Jets for like the last 3 years.
Yeah.
So, and then they cut him. He became a free agent.
That's going to be a cool game just because of that reason.
The Browns.
Yeah, that's going to be a cool game. I forgot about that.
And he's been playing lights out football. You got to think, Flacco led the Ravens to a Super Bowl, and he won MVP with the fucking Ravens in that Super Bowl. Flacco was once upon a time one of the greatest fucking quarterbacks in the NFL. I know it's hard to believe. That man's 38 years old, out there slanging it for 300 fucking yards. Get out of town, dude. He was, on the Jets for a long time. 38 years old, MVP in the Super Bowl. He's an absolute fucking monster, and it doesn't hurt whenever you've got, in my opinion, and people sleep on him, a top 5 route runner in the NFL.
Yeah.
I've said this for a very long time.
You have.
Amari Cooper is so fucking underrated and underused. Guess who found out who's good? Guess who found out that Amari Cooper is actually good? Joe Flacco. Joe fucking Flacco. Amari Cooper in the last 3 games, or no, I'm sorry, in the last 2. Can you guess how many receiving yards he has?
In the last 2 games?
Yeah.
Well, last week, I believe he put up a roughly over 200.
Yep.
Maybe one before that, I'll say 100. I'm going to go on a random dart and say 350 yards.
374.
Oh,
You were
so
fucking
close.
close. You're a winner. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. So now let's get to the Jets. We know the Browns look good.
Yep.
So the Jets are going to be, they're a clear underdog in this game.
Absolutely.
In my opinion, the Jets have to put up another 30-point game.
And the Browns need to also win this game in general. Again, like you said,
Yes, most definitely.
Playoffs, right?
Yeah. Because the Browns are sitting at 10-5, and then
Where are these Chiefs at? You keep going.
Chiefs are I think 9-8 right now, or 9-7. But anyways, the Jets, they have to put up 30 points. They have to. They've done it in 2 of the last 3 games. That's not an option for them, and they only have Breece Hall to thank for all this. That guy played lights out last week. He had 95 receiving yards for 12 catches, 96 rushing yards, 2 touchdowns. The man went absolutely the fuck off. And the Browns defense is playing good ball as well. But the Jets have kind of lacked in luster on their defense because we were all loving this Jets defense for a long time.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. They're still good. But when you let the Commanders, make a comeback like that on you, you question the eliteness of that defense. Breece Hall has to have another big game for the Jets to even have a chance at spoiling the Browns, playoff berth. Because if the Browns win, they clinch their playoff berth with this game.
Are the Browns pretty good on the running defense side?
Yeah. You got Myles Garrett leading that front. They're one of the best defenses in the NFL.
Do you think they'll be able to put up a fight against Breece Hall?
I think so, but when that's your only weapon, who's Myles Garrett going to go after? You can't go after both of them, and I guarantee they're making their game plan around.
So that's probably why the line sits at -7.5.
Yeah, more than likely. The Jets are going to put up points, but the Browns are going to have to put up points too. But Breece Hall, he has to have another big game to keep this close. But give me the former Super Bowl MVP to win this game. Browns -4.5 and over 34.5. That's what I am taking because that's the line right there.
Yeah.
You're telling me that you're not going to take 34.5? The Jets have been playing fucking great football, and they got nothing left to lose but to spoil other people's, like their playoff berths and stuff like that. That's all they have left to do. That's their only hope is just go out there and fuck some teams up.
And while you were saying that too, like he's right because I didn't even realize until now, bro. You hit it on the dart. The Browns have more dubs than the Kansas City Chiefs. I just checked while he was explaining to you guys. The Chiefs are sitting at 9-6, and the Browns are at 10-5. So if that's the case, and I can honestly see them pulling out 11-5 after this game, they're gonna win no matter what. Now at the range of where they win, I still agree with the -4.5.
Yeah.
So I'll say the -7.5 is a bit of a stretch, just because I'm a very big advocate for those people who try to take a plus tutty. I
love underdogs.
I'm saying one of those people, without a shadow of a doubt. But this one, I don't think you should really touch it no matter what because I'm not. But the one that I will touch, I really love that over, bro. I really do.
Yeah. That feels like a lock to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Granted, we might see another interception by Flacco, but we may not. I won't say bet it. If you do, I don't blame you though. But I am going to either take, as far as a straight bet, either Amari Cooper, anytime touchdown, or Njoku, tight end. That dude's been
David Njoku.
dogging. That dude's been dogging. He's on my fantasy, and he's been putting up numbers. So if you want to take his yards or an anytime touchdown, I really don't blame you. But if granted, even if so, this line is that low, I can see 2 touchdowns coming from the Cleveland Browns alone. So I will probably tell you on that, on -4.5 with the over.
Okay.
I love it. I genuinely do. And that sits on a Thursday night football. So I'm not going to say it's one of the most ecstatic type of Thursday night football and primetime games you get, but who's here to make it that ecstatic for you? My boy with his Nicky G SGP. Throw it to us. I know you're cooking it.
I just also want everybody with just one more thing. Zach Wilson is not starting. It is Trevor Seaman, just so everybody's clear on that. Everybody's clear. Yeah. Zach Wilson is not starting this game. So that's another thing you got to take into account.
Okay.
So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and give this to you real quick because it's an absolute lock.
Let's hear it.
Over 232. The connection between him and Amari Cooper has just been flawless, and I expect that to continue to roll over. Sauce Gardner can do whatever he wants, but he does not know how to cover an OG route runner. Okay, Sauce Gardner will catch you whenever you're trying to cut up a flat or something like that, but not against Amari Cooper.
And to tag on that before you go to your second leg, this dude has broken that line all 4 games that he has started. 254, 311, 374, 368, at least 2 touchdowns a game. Take that for a note if you want to make your parlays. And he also threw an interception each of those games, unfortunately, but he still pulled out the dub on 3 out of the 4, I believe.
Yeah. And I mean, you're you think he's going to go under? Like, you're crazy. 232? That feels like a gimme. Okay, with that being said, go ahead and give me Breece Hall over 46.5 rushing yards. And I'm taking that simply because Siemens starting. Their gameplay is going to be based around quick dumps to Garrett Wilson, quick dumps to the tight end, dumps and runs to Breece Hall. Breece Hall over 46.5. Amari Cooper, his line is at 58.5 yards. That feels disrespectful for the last 2 games he's had. I've got him over 58.5. I'm thinking give me Breece Hall over 31.5 receiving yards. That's going to be nothing more than screen dumps and out in the flat. And he had 12 catches last game. He can get that done in 4 catches.
Yep.
So that puts you at plus 728. I'm putting 2 units on it because we're getting close to the end of the year, and I am locking it in right now.
And as he does that, it also falls, again, we say it every single time, he throws his Nicky G SGP. It's on Thursday night primetime football. If you're following us on FanDuel, it is a no-sweat bet every primetime game. So that sits at what odds?
728.
Then it's a no-sweat no matter what. If you hit, banger. If you don't hit, you get your money back, guys. I will say the only pick out of the 4, I support the whole thing. The only one I'm feeling iffy is the Bryce Hall one. Yes, he's going to be running it all the time. They have no choice but to because all they got is the quarterback of Seaman. But if you could take that out and still take him in one prop, I do like him more for his rushing attempts.
That's a good bet.
Because of that reason. Unfortunately, on FanDuel, you can't parlay that on a same-game parlay plus.
Straight up, though.
Exactly. But if you take it as a straight up, I imagine that it should hit because of that reason alone. I don't know what the fuck my mic's doing here. But he's going to be running at the ball most of the game. And they're not going to let the quarterback for the Jets, Seaman, throw it that much until Breece Hall probably has to opt out a bit to let the backup running back in. So rather than getting 46
and their backup is Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
Which
which isn't a bad option, frankly. So I don't blame you for taking, if the odds make sense for Breece Hall for 25,
maybe 25 or just take him for 40. I mean, you're asking for 10 rushing yards a quarter. That feels feasible.
If this dude gets one hole on that defensive line,
getting it. He's
going far enough to get to that line throughout the entirety of the game. But that's my only take for it. But I love the parlay. Tail that. I will too. That's my only take. Hope you guys take that into consideration. What is the next game you want to touch on?
This is one that I know John was actually looking forward to. We're going to go ahead and do the Lions and Cowboys. Cowboys sitting favored at -6. Over-unders at 53.5. This is the highest over-under of Week 17.
Yeah.
Cowboys sitting at 10-5, coming off of a loss to the Dolphins on the road, 22-20. Lions are sitting at 11-4, coming off of a win against the Vikings, 30-24. That's a great divisional win right there.
It is.
And with that win, they clinched the #1 seed in the NFC North. I'll just go ahead and say this: the Lions are great on the road. They're 6-2 right now on the road, but them boys are undefeated at home.
So from my understanding, based off everyone going off on it, because I was one of those people that are pretty happy about the Lions winning their last game. They won the division. But they didn't win the whole NFC conference, right?
Correct.
Okay.
They still have a chance, though.
Okay. Continue.
Yeah, so Cowboys. Yeah. So they won 7. They're 7-0 at home this year. But guess what? They're 15-0 on a streak right now at home. They haven't lost the last 15 times they've played at fucking Jerry World.
Is it a 15-1 or a 16-0 game? Let's hear it.
Let's get through a couple things
Yes,
first.
sir. Let's hear it. I want to hear it.
Both these teams still have a lot to fight for. Even though they're both in the playoffs already, they still got a lot to fight for because the Cowboys have a chance to win the NFC East with the Flock Nation steamrolling them 49ers. Go Flock, go. But the Lions still have a shot at the number 1 overall seed in the NFC because of the 49ers losing.
Okay.
If you can pull up the Lions record, never mind, I've got it sitting right. Yeah, they're
11 and
11-4.
Yep.
Yeah. So the NFC it's a foot race right now for the to get the first round bye and the home field advantage.
And they got 2 games to prove it.
Exactly. And this is going to be a tough one. They're going to have to show out. Like I said, they still have a chance to fight for the NFC, but the Cowboys, they've lost their last 2 games. Granted, they were on the road. They played the Bills. They played the Dolphins. But in my eyes, the Lions are just as good as the Bills and Dolphins when they are playing their best football.
Yes.
We have seen them lose in terrible fashion, but normally it's to a divisional team, which isn't too big of a deal because you expect those. But
I don't mean to cut in. But,
no, you're good. Let's hear it.
But with that record being a big talking point in this take, for example, he said that they haven't lost much at home. But listen to the teams that I'm about to name off that they have beat at home. They beat the Eagles. That was probably the best one. They beat the Seahawks. That was a bit of a struggle. They beat the Commanders. They beat the Giants. They beat the Rams.
Let's keep hearing it.
They beat the Patriots. They beat the Jets again. And they beat the Raiders. And then they beat the Jags. So, and that was the preseason for the last 2.
What's the only team on that list that's comparable to the Lions?
To the Lions?
Yes. Out of their wins at home, who's the only team on there that's comparable? And I'll tell you right now, there's only one team, and it was the first team you said.
The Eagles.
The Eagles, correct. And they beat them. And I think the Eagles are a more well-rounded team than the Lions right now.
Not wrong. So
it's a tough one.
Bro.
This is going to be a great game
because they've been putting nothing but positive things that make me, and I'm sure you guys, look at the lineup for the Lions, whether it's Amon St. Brown or Jamar Gibbs or even David Montgomery, putting up yardage. So like the yardage is truly coming from the Detroit Lions. I won't say much from Jared Goff's end. The one thing I could say about Jared Goff,
it's a lot of
is when it is
yards
like,
after catch,
and it's what you would say when Jared Goff can get the O-line running as far as the running backs go, he chokes. I will say Dak is probably a little bit notorious for that regard too, because he is. We've seen it.
Most definitely.
So if one of these quarterbacks start to realize that their O-line, as far as them defending them, or the running backs can't get a move, whether that's Pollard, David Montgomery, Jamar Gibbs, etc., it's up to them to make those plays. And if they can't get it done, one of these 2 QBs are going to throw an interception, which the only one I could say right now, based off of the defense of how great the Cowboys are playing, I want to throw my one pick so far until you finish at least, because I already had this pick in mind, is Jared Goff to throw an interception against the fucking Cowboys.
I knew that was coming. I knew he was going to say that one.
It is.
But that's not a bad bet because I agree with that as well. And I think it's going to be detrimental to him too.
Yep.
And with that being said, I think that one interception very well could be the game changer because I think it'll happen in Lions territory. Cowboys will get an easy score out of it.
Yep.
I hate to fucking say it. Give me the Cowboys -5.5 and over 50.5. Cowboys can put up 30 points at home. No fucking problem. I think this comes down to a 2-score game. I like about 34-24. Give or take. It could be 30-21. Lions will fight for it at the end, but they're just not going to be able to put it up.
Do you ever get any sort of skepticalness when every time we try to take the over on big teams like Kansas City, Dolphins, Eagles, when they face each other, Miami Dolphins, if I were to say that, it's always the under though. Have you noticed that every time we try to pick, and it's the games where we least expect it is when it hits the over.
But it's all the teams that we thought from last year, we're like, Chiefs will bounce back this week. Bills will bounce back this week. We were just wrong on every single one of those that week. But, I mean, these are 2 high-flying teams right here. They both put up a lot of fucking points. Cowboys will put up 30 at home by themselves.
Maybe the fact that we're nearing the end of the season, they have 1, something to prove. 2, they have something to win.
Correct.
So maybe in that regard, they will not just us as far as us talking to you guys, but they have that motive on the field
Those both play a huge factor.
Yeah, so maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. So if you want to take any sort of touchdowns, it's going to be a matter of who's going to make them. But I guess I'm not really wrong as far as disagreeing with you on the over, because I do like the over. I'm just not used to or being comfortable with choosing any sort of overs over the pass of 50. But this one, the way you're talking about it, I think this one might actually be one of those.
I get that. I mean, the logic checks out. Yeah.
Respectfully.
So who are you taking? Spread sits at Cowboys -6, over under 53.5. What do you like?
I personally like if I can find something to parlay with it, I'm gonna take the Cowboys money line, and what other player prop I throw in there, I'll throw it in there. But out of the gate, I think the money line and who wins and comes out a winner in this game is gonna be the Cowboys.
Okay, I agree. Let's go ahead and move on to my personal favorite.
I can take a whack
fucking game of the week. I'll let you guess.
I'm gonna take a whack and say the Miami Dolphins against the Baltimore Ravens.
You're goddamn fucking right. Flock Nation fly. Ravens are coming off of a huge win against the 49ers, 33-12. They're sitting with a 12-3 record, running away with the AFC. But hold on, Dolphins are right behind them. Dolphins coming off of a win where they barely squeaked by the Cowboys, 22-20 at home, and they're sitting at 11-4. You already know who I'm picking, but we're gonna wait until the end to announce that. Dolphins, again, they barely beat the fucking Cowboys. And guess what? That is their only win the entire season against a team with a winning record.
Interesting.
Let that sink in. We all thought these Dolphins were high flying. I couldn't believe when I found this stat. I'm like, there's no fucking way. And then I go back and this is their only win against a team with a winning record. And they barely beat them. They had to beat them on the last second field goal. And right now, I think the Ravens are a better team than the Cowboys.
That was tough.
And the Dolphins are going to be on the road. They're going to M&T Bank Stadium. I mean, the Flock don't fucking play around there. But if the Ravens win this game, they're guaranteed home field advantage.
Okay.
And they get the number 1 seed in the AFC, and they get the first round bye. The Ravens have to win this fucking game. Now, I'm going to ask you a question.
Let's hear it.
If, theoretically, Ravens win this game, okay? They're number 1 seed. Does Lamar deserve MVP?
I'm going to give you a 1,000% yes.
Okay.
Because the way, again, I think if I might recall, correct me if I'm wrong, the two candidates at the very top of this category of who could win MVP this season is Brock Purdy and Lamar Jackson.
Wrong.
Okay, who are the
just because? So basically, it was sitting in between Lamar and Brock, and then Brock threw 4 fucking interceptions to the Ravens, and that solidified him to not be allowed to get the MVP. I think his odds are like plus 5,000 right now. You'll never guess who's second, and it is well fucking deserved.
I'm going to take a dart and throw Tua.
No.
Really?
McCaffrey. Well fucking deserved to be in second place.
Yes.
Very well deserved.
Oh, I thought we were going to say QBs. Because that's another conversation that I have outside of this podcast with my friends and coworkers. People believe, and myself, I'm sure you two, all of you do as well. We always try to picture MVPs being the quarterbacks.
And it gets boring.
And it really does. It really, really does. So I think for the regard of saying that it can finally be someone outside of quarterbacks, why wouldn't we want someone different? Whether that's a wide receiver like Tyreek Hill or a running back like McCaffrey. And frankly, the face of the 49ers, if you see the beginning of those games, those icons, how you ever see, it's Brock Purdy and the 49ers against Lamar Jackson and the Ravens.
Right.
For example, you don't even see Brock Purdy on the picture. You see McCaffrey, and he's on commercials. Like, this dude is the face of the 49ers. Yeah, they have weapons like, help me out here. Shit.
Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle,
okay.
Juszczyk.
Thank you. That's 4 right there.
McCaffrey.
So he already named up 5. And I'm going to name off those 4 or 5 before I even get to Brock Purdy.
Exactly.
So you're going to tell me that Brock Purdy should be the MVP? He makes, the O-line, as far as his receivers and running backs, such as McCaffrey, make Brock Purdy look good. Just as much as Dak Prescott makes the other wide receivers himself and Pollard look just as good. So I would have said maybe Dak Prescott probably up there because I think based off of statistics, he should definitely be a candidate.
I think he's fourth, and I did take him on a futures bet, and that was a couple weeks ago. Whenever they beat the Eagles,
I wouldn't blame you.
But just for anybody that's out there questioning, should it be Brock Purdy or Lamar? Would the 49ers be better with Brock Purdy or Lamar Jackson under the gun? Ask yourself that question. You already know the answer. It's Lamar. It's number 8.
Yeah.
Like, that's not even a fucking question. Could you imagine the 49ers with Lamar Jackson? Oh, my God.
I can see a three-peat. A three-peat. Like, there's no question. There's no question.
So, if Lamar can make this happen, if he can beat the Dolphins this week, I think that solidifies his position in the MVP. Ravens have covered in 8 of the 9 last games they've played against teams with a winning record.
Do you think if
that is great to know? That is great to know about the spread.
Do you think that could have been a preview of a potential Super Bowl?
I think that it is the preview of the potential Super Bowl, because I also took a futures bet for the Super Bowl to be the Ravens and the 49ers.
Oh man.
The 49ers are damn near untouchable when they play the NFC. But these are the 2 top teams in the AFC. Ravens number 1, Fins at 2. These Dolphins aren't the same ones that we saw, week 2 or week 3 when they were putting up 70 fucking points. It's like they're sputtering a little bit, and they have been all season. They're gonna have to break out that same fucking offense if they want to beat Lamar and company. And I am wholeheartedly a believer in that. But it's almost like they don't have their foot on the fucking gas. The Dolphins are going to need to be refueled and ready to fucking roll if they want to win at M&T Bank Stadium.
Have the Ravens clinched the AFC yet?
No.
They haven't.
No.
So if they win against the Dolphins, will they?
Correct.
So they need to win this game like you said.
Correct. Now, if the Dolphins win, they still have to win one more game in the AFC.
And hope that the Baltimore Ravens lose the next one.
Correct.
Oh,
now, if they come down to a tie, if the Dolphins win and they come down to a tie on record, Dolphins win, because the Dolphins would win this game and that would be the tiebreaker, and the Dolphins would get the first seed and the first round bye and the home field advantage in the second.
So they need to bank on the Ravens to either lose the next game, not the ones coming up against them, but the following, or tie.
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
So, okay. That actually, as far if you're a Dolphins fan, you do have a slight hope in that regard. But the only I don't mean to be the bearer of bad news, but the team that the Ravens have to play after the Dolphins is the fucking Steelers. You're telling me that the Ravens can't beat the Steelers?
Divisional. Don't.
The sign ain't up there yet. Okay.
Right there, I would have just hit that.
You're right. I didn't even think about that.
So I'm just gonna give you one more little tidbit, and I found this very interesting. Miami and Baltimore last year, they played in September. Guess what?
What's up?
Miami won 42-38 and covered as 3-point underdogs. This was without Tyreek, but I also think that was the Ravens had a couple players out as well. So with that being said, the last time they played, there was over a total of over 1,000 yards in offense.
Damn. Damn. Yeah, I'm looking at it right now. Previous matchup, 42-38 Miami.
Yeah. So if you want to take anything, go fucking hammer some player props. I don't know who it's going to be yet. The lines aren't out for us yet.
Advocate for player props.
That's the fucking way that I would go. But with this game, I think the Ravens continue to soar. Go ahead and give me the Ravens money line and easily over 46.5 points.
I 100% agree with the over and 46.
Stop it.
Points.
Stop it.
Bro.
Stop it.
They both have a motive to win the game. Like, and not even just the game. They're winning to try to aim for that first seed in the conference. They have an absolute motive. They are in the final 2 games where it matters more than anything. They can't attempt to pull these upsets. So I do see where you're coming from. With
they
the
barely beat the Cowboys
and they barely beat the Calvins. But
that's the only team they've beaten with a winning record,
bro. I'm not saying that the Dolphins are going to win. I'm just saying if you're bringing up a point of where they had the biggest probably offensive NFL history last year on September 18th to be exact, and Miami won, and it broke 80 points.
They were in Baltimore too.
Yeah, and I didn't even know that part. But again, with the player props, I love it. I do. I'm not gonna touch the money line. I can't even choose. I want to choose, and I can't even choose. These two sides are absolutely immaculate. The only thing I think that probably would have deterred me from choosing the Dolphins. Again, I'm not choosing them. But if this gentleman was still on the Ravens, I don't think I would have any sort of shadow of a doubt that I would have to choose the Ravens. The fact that the tight end for the Ravens, the one before he got hurt.
Oh, Mark Andrews.
Thank you. Mark Andrews got hurt.
Isaiah Likely's been doing
Isaiah
great.
Likely is a banging tight end.
Lamar, that's his favorite target.
Exactly my point. So when he brought up player props, I already started to look. I didn't even think we were going to get these lines, guys. But the fact that we already are, I'm looking at them. They only give you 4 on FanDuel. I'm seeing Isaiah Likely at 40.5. You're telling me this dude is not going to break 40 yards? That
Who's covering him?
Like, I don't even know, and I don't even give a fuck. I don't
care.
Like, this dude's going to be banger. He's going to probably get 3 or 4 touches, probably 15 or 12 each of these, so he'll get there. If you want to feel a little more reassured, take him 25, who will break their line because he just loves being the spotlight of the damn team.
Don't say it.
I don't want to say it, but he's probably going to hit his line. I'm going to have to go with OBJ.
He fucked me so hard.
He always usually does, but it's always a time where you don't think he should. But this is one of those times
he has to show out.
He has to show out and take that spotlight.
Okay.
So that brings me to my pick of taking OBJ for 32.5 straight up. He's going to hit the line. If you want to disagree with me, I wouldn't take his receptions because the fact is when he only gets catches, they're lengthy passes.
Yes.
So you're better off taking the yards. So I'm telling you, do not touch the receptions. He will break 32.5 fucking yards.
And if you don't like the 32.5, the 25 yards is going to be, I guarantee, still less than minus 200.
Or could you agree with me then, if you want to take that, because I love it where you're going with that, could you, and be honest, take OBJ 25 receiving yards, and Likely as a parlay for a 2-leg parlay, Likely and OBJ for 25 receiving yards.
Yeah, I mean, that should damn near be even money.
Hell yeah, because they're not. I think another thing to consider
might be plus money.
My last part, Lamar Jackson. We are at the final 2 games before they hit the playoffs. I think as soon as they win this game, he's gonna be pulling back on the rushing end against the Pittsburgh Steelers because they don't want him to get hurt. They can't afford him to get hurt. If he does, those playoffs dreams are gone. So this will probably be Lamar Jackson's last time to show out. I don't think that he's going to be running that much this game. I don't think so. So he's going to have to rely more on his throwing arm on this end. Zay Flowers, OBJ, Bateman, and Likely. It's going to be these 4 who are going to have to go off.
Okay, I think we're both done with that game. Him and I, we made it to the championship of our fantasy league against one another. I'll cheers you to that,
Hell
buddy.
Yeah.
May the best man win. You have Christian McCaffrey. Just so you know, 60% of all ESPN rosters that have Christian McCaffrey made it to the final week.
Fuck yeah.
Literally the fucking back.
I didn't know that.
But the thing that just got me thinking is they might rest Lamar next week if they win this game, and Lamar's my quarterback. So I'm stressing a little bit right now.
But also McCaffrey too. He why would you want to risk to get one of star running backs?
They have to win this week.
Exactly. So after this one, I think
we both could have our star players missing.
And I'm looking at that too. But I will be, and I'm sure, I hope you guys had this guy on your league team, fantasy football team last week. I had Amari Cooper.
Oh, yeah.
This dude, if you had him on your team, he put
lucky as fuck
51 fantasy points. Unbelievable.
Crazy.
Unbelievable.
I thought 46 was a lot for McCaffrey last week.
Until I saw that.
Then I saw that. I'm like, no, McCaffrey's a bitch.
But yeah, man, I'm glad to be up here. I called it the last episode. Obviously, again, that was 2 weeks ago. But I'm happy. I wouldn't have been more than happy to be on the finals against my boy here. It's going to be one of us regardless. Love you. But hopefully I take the dub. But hey, we'll see. We'll see
how it goes.
Put it up here. I want to hear your guys' thoughts on our rosters. I'll put it right here on the screen. If you're liking Nikki G's team or mine, we'll see. We'll see. I really am, regardless of the fact I'm going to be happy with either of us winning. There wouldn't be anyone else I'd rather lose to.
I agree. That's a great way to put it. That's a great way to put it. I'll give you nuggies. Okay, let's bring us to the last game, and then we're going to do something special. We're going to start picking every single team to win
Okay.
at the end of our episodes.
Okay.
So our last game is going to be the Raiders going to Lucas Oil. Raiders at the Colts. Colts are sitting at 3.5 favorites. Over-unders at 43.5. Them boys in blue, they're sitting at 8-7, coming off of a fucking atrocious loss in Atlanta. Looked like them boys might have went to Magic City the night before the way they fucking played. Atlanta won 29-10. The Raiders are sitting at 7-8, coming off of a huge divisional win against the fucking Chiefs.
Yeah.
They beat them 20-14. Colts scored a total of 7 points in the first half against the Falcons.
Yeah,
And 3 points in the second half.
So salty.
That shit was embarrassing. That was awful football. I ended up turning the game off because I know the Colts are better than that. I know they know how to play better football, and it pissed me off that they didn't. I mean, granted, we were missing Zach Moss. We were missing MPJ. But it doesn't matter because you need to be able to have...
But we brought back JT. You would have thought.
I mean, he can't carry the whole load, though.
Yeah, but...
The game plan doesn't revolve around him anymore.
And I agree, he shouldn't be. But wouldn't you have thought, and I watched the whole game, I didn't even turn off as shitty as I was. They were one of the only teams out of my 3-leg parlay that I had that fucked me. I really thought that the Colts would be able to cover
At least.
4 points. I didn't even take the money line. I took him at 4.
Because going into halftime, it was 13-7, and we're like, okay,
Yeah.
this is doable.
Yeah, absolutely. Because we've seen him come back from 0-13 from the game prior, I think, or 0-10 against Steelers, I think it was. And I actually went to a restaurant and watched the rest of the game, and we started murking. Whoever the backup running back for Zach Moss and JT,
It's Sermon and
one of those two,
Montgomery.
that dude was doing fucking awesome.
Once Moss went out.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did.
Dude, he
He
was
played
doing great.
They both played great football.
Yeah.
Great football. And then I don't know what they knew that we didn't have Moss, and they knew if they shut down our backs, then then we didn't have any game at all because we're dependent on Alec Pierce and Josh Downs, who can't break their routes yet. They still have a lot to learn. Minshew only went 20 for 37 for 200. He's got to get it together, or else this Raiders defense is going to send him to another fucking dimension. They had 2 pick sixes for against the Chiefs. That defense, or not, maybe not. I know they had 1 pick six, but the defense scored twice.
The Raiders?
Yes. So here's a couple tidbits for you. Aiden O'Connell, you want to hear some crazy shit?
I can hear more than crazy shit about that dude. Go ahead.
He threw 62 yards in the first quarter. That's not bad.
Oh, I know what you're about to say. Go ahead. Oh my god.
Guess what he threw for in the second?
0.
Third.
0.
Fourth.
0.
And they won the fucking ball game. That Raiders defense is not a fucking joke right now. Max Crosby at the helm. What a crazy ass motherfucker, dude. I love him. It sucks that he's going to lose Defensive Player of the Year to Myles Garrett more than likely, but I think he deserves it. I think he's the backbone of that fucking Raiders defense. But if the Colts want to win this game, we need Minshew Mania back. We need prime JT 2-8 back. We need MPJ out there balling. That is how we win this game. And if we don't have them, all 3 of them working at that exact caliber, then we're not going to get it. That's a fact. Crosby's a fucking dog. Yeah. It's a shame that Quentin Nelson can't block him.
And there's 4 bad injuries in this entire game as far as stars players goes. Josh Jacobs is out on the Raiders. Max Crosby's out on the Raiders. Then we got on the Colts side.
Crosby's out?
Yeah, apparently. Questionable for the
Questionable. That motherfucker's going to play.
And all 4 of these are also questionable. We also got Zach Moss and Michael Pittman. If you guys saw the game, that impact on him was absolutely unnecessary. And I'm not a very big Colts fan, but for the average football NFL fan, watch that hit. Absolutely unnecessary.
And there might be a lot of people that saying that, it's a pussy take. No, MPJ was on the way to the ground already. Yep. That's why he got suspended. He got suspended the rest of the year.
I didn't know that. I just knew he got immediately ejected without a shadow of a doubt. They didn't even have to review it. They instantly called it. If you guys don't see it, guess what? I'm throwing it on the screen for you. Watch this hit. It's completely unnecessary. That's the type of injuries that people stop playing football or end their entire career. It could have messed them up entirely. You guys saw how Tua got hit. His hands all crippled up. That was very, very scary. I really thought that was.
I didn't like that.
He came back for the next season, and look at him now, popping off. But again, that doesn't happen to every single NFL player. He was just lucky that it didn't turn out like that.
Yeah. And then I guess he is notorious for dirty hits. So that's why even if the Steelers make the playoffs this year, he's out. They're not allowing him the regular season or the postseason.
Really?
It was a dirty fucking hit, and you can say that, oh, that's not real football. Guess what? That's how the rules are now.
Yes,
so whether
sir.
you like it or not,
Absolutely.
that was dumb as fuck to hit him like that. You lost a great back, and learn how to play better. Learn how to formation tackle. Learn how to be more aware of your surroundings. I know we're saying this behind a fucking table in the middle of nowhere, Indiana, but
we'd say it.
But we're still going to say it. It doesn't matter.
Where it is.
It doesn't matter. So back to it. Minshew won't have a lot of choice but to roll out to his left side. Crosby is going to be crushing the right side of our line. Minshew is going to be on the roll a lot, and this is when I wish we had fucking Anthony Richardson back, man.
Yeah, I will say as far as the regard, and just a little quick point, as far as what you just brought up on that part, I will say Minshew is not the best runner, but I will say he's one of the best scrambler, and he can really get out of that pocket and get out there to possibly throw it an extra yard or two if someone's in front of him. He's definitely a good scrambler. The fastest and best runner, not so much, but he's willing to take a hit. He's willing to take a dive more than a slide, and I'll say that he's got balls for that. That's a really big thing in this regard, especially coming to the very end of qualifying for the playoffs. He's going to do it. I really think the Colts will make it to the playoffs. The little last game against the Falcons was a bit of a choke. I really wish it didn't go that way. But without a shadow of a doubt, now they put themselves in that position. It was their fault, but they're going to own it, and they're going to make a bounce back. I really do think that.
I hope so.
I think we all do.
Yeah. And if the Raiders want to win this game, you can't depend on your defense again. Yeah. Absolutely the fuck not. You got lucky. Minshew will take the hit. He's not going to throw some bullshit up there.
Exactly.
Minshew will probably get intercepted at least once.
Yep.
But Minshew will get fucking popped.
And so
he just throws some bullshit.
And so will O'Connell.
Yeah, I mean, Aiden O'Connell, he shit to bed last week worse than a 2-year-old with diarrhea. He played fucking terrible. It was like he had a fucking tummy ache the whole game.
It was a 10-man team out there for the Raiders, bro.
Exactly.
It really was.
Exactly. That's a great way to put it. But this also proves the point. The defense does win games. And that proved itself true.
So what's the final pick, my guy?
Colts money line over 39.5.
Colts money line. I will touch the Colts. Actually, no. Give me Colts minus 2.5.
Okay.
They win it. At least
at home.
Field goal at home. I really don't think they're going to choke at their own home. The fact that they're this close to the playoffs, and I hope they pull it off. They're going to win this. Whether that's more than 10 points, whatever, they're going to win by at least a field goal. So give me Colts minus 2.5.
Okay.
What's the next one you want to chitter chatter about?
That's it, man. I just want to go ahead and hit the money lines for the game.
All right, let's do it then. Let's go ahead and start off with New York Jets and the Cleveland Browns. Money line. Who are we choosing?
I got the Browns.
I got the Browns. We got the Detroit Lions against the Cowboys.
I got the Cowboys.
Got the Cowboys. Miami and Baltimore.
I got the Ravens.
Oh, this is the tough one. I'm going to have to go ahead and say the Ravens.
Yeah, boy. Woo!
New England Patriots against the Buffalo Bills. Give me the Bills.
Give me the Bills.
Falcons against the Bears.
Give me the Bears.
Give me the... Do we know if Desmond Ritter's playing? Fuck, I don't even get
Desmond Ritter's benched.
He is?
Yes.
He's dog water. Give me the Bears. Titans against the Houston Texans.
I got the Texans as long as C.J. Stroud is back with Nico Collins.
I think the Titans might pull this one off, but we'll see. Las Vegas Raiders against the Indianapolis Colts.
I got the Colts.
We got the Colts. Los Angeles Rams against the New York Giants.
I got the Rams.
I got the Rams. San Francisco 49ers against the Washington Commanders.
I got the Niners.
We all got the Niners. Carolina Panthers against the
Jacksonville. They have to win. Give me Jacksonville.
I think the Carolina Panthers have nothing else to lose, so they're going to try their ass off to beat a little shitty team. So far, that the way they're performing, give me the Carolina Panthers.
Woo!
That one. Arizona Cardinals against the Philadelphia Eagles.
I got the Eagles.
I have the Eagles. New Orleans Saints against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. This is a tough one.
Give me the Red Hot Bucks.
Give me the Red Hot Bucks. I like them. Pittsburgh Steelers against the Seahawks.
I like the Seahawks. I think the Seahawks pop back in beautiful fashion.
I agree. I think Geno Smith and the Seahawks do pop off in a good fashion in this game. We got the Cincinnati Bengals against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Give me the Chiefs with a big bounce back game here at home.
Give me the Kansas City Chiefs. They need to bounce back. If they don't, then what are we looking at here, guys? And we got the Chargers against the Denver Broncos. Give me the Broncos.
Give me the Chargers.
I did see a little bit about. Well, actually,
they're going to bench Russ.
Yes, you're right. You're right. I forgot. With that being said, then give me the Chargers. I agree. Change of mind, change of heart. We got Green Bay Packers against the Minnesota Vikings.
Give me the Pack.
Give me the Vikings. I think they need to come back. Absolutely. After that horrible loss, they were stupid for that, but we will touch on that another time.
That's the last Sunday game. Is there Monday Night Football?
We are digressing to January 7th. That is indeed Monday night. We got the Buffalo Bills against Miami Dolphins.
Who's at home?
We got Miami.
Doesn't matter. Give me the Bills. I think the Dolphins get train wrecked, man.
I think Miami has to win this one, especially if they happen to potentially lose against the Cowboys. So I'm thinking ahead. I'm a little bit of foreshadowing in this regard. I'm going to have to go ahead and say Miami Dolphins on this one.
You know what? I changed my bet. The script, actually, we got the script for this year. So go ahead and give me the Dolphins. I forgot we saw it. Give me the Dolphins as well.
Yeah. And then that brings us back again to Houston. Indianapolis Colts is a divisional game. Let me hear from my boy first.
That one is going. So
January
both those
7th.
games are for next week, my friend.
Okay. Well, it's already here, so why not? Let's touch it. We might change our minds. What happens? We'll see what happens.
Who's at home?
We are in.
Give me the Colts.
Indiana. Give me the Colts. I think the Colts pull it off, guys. I said it. We said it. They're gonna make it. They're gonna fucking make it.
That was a great episode, man.
Hell
I had a
yeah,
lot of
man.
fun. It felt good to be back in the saddle.
It was. I really hope you guys have a absolutely happy holidays and a happy New Year. I'm sorry again we didn't get to see you guys on Merry Christmas, but we are here now and we're wishing you a late Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year's. I have nothing left to say. You got me, Jonny Gamble, on All Last Like podcast with my homie boy.
Oh, Nikki G.
We are signing out, and we will catch you guys cashing with us.
Catch you guys cashing with us. Happy
Next
New
week.
Year's.
Happy
We'll
New
see you
Year.
next week, y'all.
Peace.